Hi, I'm Hilde Hinton. I'm the author of The Loudness of Unsaid Things, and I'm talking to you today about reading. I'm an everywhere reader. I love reading at night, in bed, obviously, snuggled up. That's the best. But I read in the morning, I read in the afternoon, lazy afternoons. I also read in the car because I do love an audiobook. Just sit in the left lane, listen to the story, and let all the stress heads drive past you. And there's some beautiful, beautiful books out. I'm really loving Wolf Hall at the moment. It's beautifully read. I don't like the ones that are really over the top. I much prefer a sort of smooth, melancholic read to listen to. So basically, I fit reading in every minute that I can because it's my favourite thing in the whole wide world. The first book I fell in love with as an adult was the Dodford Trilogy by Robertson Davies. I'd been through my teenage angsty years where I'd stopped reading, that age where you think you know everything, and stumbled across the Dodford Trilogy. And it starts with a group of kids, and one of them wraps up a rock in a snowball and throws it at the other kid. And the kid ends up in hospital, and the ramifications, the first book's about the ramifications in the social group about this incident. The second book is The Boy That Threw the Rock, talking to a Jungian psychologist in the Swiss Alps. And the third part of the trilogy follows the boy that got hit in the head, who ended up becoming a well-renowned magician whose life and mind was forever changed, not necessarily in a bad way, by being hit in the head with a rock. So it brought me back to the magic of reading, which I'd had as a young kid and had those teenage years off. So that was the first book I fell in love with as a grown-up. So what does reading mean to me? Well, basically, all life's experiences, whether it's love, death, loss, grief, doesn't matter what you experience in life. When you read a lot of books, you're learning about other people's reactions to those same experiences. So really, I've met tens of thousands of characters that have dealt with these themes. So you find out who you are and gauge your moral compass on other people's reactions. You also learn a lot about yourself, who you want to be. And of course, there's the visual landscape that you create in your mind. It's just magical. You start off with this blank slate and the world slowly builds around you, and you start seeing the faces on the people and hearing the way they talk, and your creation's going to be very different to the world created by the person next to you reading the same book. So it's a marvellous experience that's got its roots in reality, but also gives you somewhere else to go, some other place to see and be. So reading during lockdown. I've definitely changed what I've been reading during lockdown. I'm doing a lot of historical crime fiction. I'm finding some comfort in reading about other places and other times rather than focusing on the present. C.J. Sansom's series set in Tudor England, following this hunchback lawyer who goes around solving cases and has to work politically within the classes and the palace. So that's been terrific. Also Solari Gentle's series set in 1930s, 1920s Sydney. That's been fun as well. Following that ragtag crew who happened to stumble across dead bodies every book. As an aside, really. That's been marvellous, sort of viewing Australia, through past eyes. So reading during lockdown for me is definitely about focusing on something that isn't in my life. And I've really, really enjoyed getting into those. So authors I admire. It's a tricky one for me because I tend to like individual books rather than particular authors. A bit like I like songs rather than bands or singers. I don't follow particular musicians. I just pick out random songs that I love. So it's really the books themselves that I admire. People of the Book by Geraldine Brooks. I just loved it. Bridge of Clay by Zuzak. And I haven't read their other works. Maybe I should. Maybe I will admire them. But I admire them for the books that I've read. And basically I admire any author that can finish a book. You know, it's not an easy process, and it's pretty hard to knuckle down and do the work sometimes. And I just think anybody who takes it on and wants to give it a go is worth my admiration. All right. So what's next for me in terms of writing? Well, Loudness of Unsaid Things came out about a year ago, and in the meantime I've been working on 2 projects. One is called Heroes Next Door, which is a book I've co-written with my brother Samuel Johnson, and it's a fundraiser for our family charity Love Your Sister. When we were out on the road raising funds for cancer research, we just came across so many people going over and above, doing extraordinary things, and they're just people living in our streets. So we put together a compilation of their stories, and it's called Heroes Next Door. So I'm looking forward to that coming out in a couple of months, just about to do the proofread. So that's exciting. And after that, I'm going to be focusing on my new novel. There's a new leading lady in my head. Her name is Evelyn. She has a laundromat in a strip of shops. She's very helpful. She does a lot for the community, and frankly, she's not very appreciated. She's very mindful of her customers. She follows them home just in case they ever need help, because she's not a stalker. So she's helpful, our Evelyn. She's not very likeable, but you grow to love her, as I am. And I'm looking forward to her adventures.